The Earth's core is never seen, never felt directly, and rarely considered in daily life. Yet it is the reason the planet has a memory. It remembers heat from formation, pressure from collapse, and motion inherited from the violent birth of the solar system. The core is not just a structure buried beneath the mantle. It is a continuing event, a slow-burning engine whose movement defines the difference between a living planet and a dead one. If that engine were to fail, Earth would not shatter. It would forget itself. At the heart of the planet, iron exists in states no surface material ever experiences. The inner core, solid not because it is cold, but because pressure forces atoms into rigidity, rotates slightly faster than the rest of the planet. Around it, the outer core remains molten, dense, and restless. Heat escapes upward, and rotation twists that flow into vast electrical currents. From this motion emerges the magnetic field, extending tens of thousands of kilometers into space. It is invisible, but it is constant. It has been there longer than multicellular life, longer than oxygen-rich air, longer than continents in their current form. If the core began to die, the first thing to disappear would not be something obvious. It would be consistency. The magnetic field would weaken unevenly, developing fractures and pockets of vulnerability. Poles would wander. Field lines would distort. For long stretches of time, the field might collapse entirely, then reassert itself in a different configuration. Geological records show that this has happened before. Magnetic reversals scattered across deep time, but a dying core would not recover from them. As the field faltered, Earth's boundary with space would erode. The magnetosphere acts like a shock absorber, turning away most of the sun's charged output. Without it, solar wind would press directly against the upper atmosphere, energizing particles until they escaped Earth's gravity altogether. This stripping would be slow, almost imperceptible on a human timescale, but planetary history is written in patience. Over millions of years, the sky would thin. The atmosphere is not just air. It is insulation, chemistry, pressure, and memory. It stabilizes temperatures, carries water, and enables life to exist outside of oceans and caves. As it eroded, weather would change in ways difficult to predict but easy to feel. Winds would strengthen as pressure gradients sharpened. Clouds would behave differently. The sky would darken slightly as gases scattered less light. Sunrises would become harsher. Ultraviolet radiation would reach deeper into the biosphere. Life would respond, but not gracefully. Species that evolved under protection would face increased mutation rates. Ecosystems would fragment. Plants, which rely on stable atmospheric composition, would suffer first. Photosynthesis would become less efficient as carbon dioxide levels shifted unpredictably. Oxygen production would decline. Animals dependent on complex food webs would follow. Human technology, tuned to stability, would be among the most vulnerable systems on the planet. Satellites would be exposed to radiation that damages electronics. Orbits would decay differently as atmospheric drag changed. Navigation systems would fail as compasses lost meaning. Power grids would experience catastrophic overloads during solar storms that were once harmless. Civilization would begin to feel as though the planet itself had turned unreliable. But even this would only be the surface expression of deeper change. The core does more than generate magnetism. It is the source of much of Earth's internal heat, and that heat is what keeps the mantle in motion. Mantle convection drives plate tectonics, which shapes continents, recycles crust, and regulates long-term climate through the carbon cycle. As the core cooled, this movement would slow. Plates would become sluggish. Subduction zones would weaken. Volcanoes would erupt less frequently, and with less force. At first, this might seem like an improvement. Fewer earthquakes, fewer eruptions, fewer natural disasters. But volcanism is not chaos, it is balance. Volcanoes return carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, counteracting its removal through weathering and sedimentation. Without them, carbon would be locked away in rock. Over tens of millions of years, the planet would cool dramatically. Ice would spread from the poles. Glaciers would carve deeper scars into continents. Sea levels would fall. Ocean circulation would change as temperature gradients flattened. Nutrient cycling would slow. Productivity would drop. The biosphere would shrink, becoming simpler, more localized, more constrained. Earth would begin to resemble a planet in its retirement phase, still present, still intact, but no longer dynamic. The oceans would last longer than the atmosphere, but they too would suffer. With reduced magnetic shielding, radiation would penetrate deeper into surface waters. Phytoplankton, responsible for much of Earth's oxygen production, would decline. As oxygen levels dropped, complex life would struggle to persist. The world would not become instantly lifeless. It would become less expressive. Mars stands as a cautionary echo. Once, it likely had a molten core, a magnetic field, rivers, and seas. When its core cooled, the field vanished. The atmosphere followed. Water retreated or froze. Mars did not explode. It simply became quiet. Earth, though larger and richer in heat, is not immune to the same fate. The timeline is long, but the direction is clear. Even if humanity could adapt technologically, survival would require constant intervention. Artificial magnetic fields, atmospheric replenishment, underground or underwater cities. Civilization would become an engineering problem rather than a cultural one. Growth would stop. Preservation would become the goal. Eventually, even that would fail. As the outer core solidified and motion ceased entirely, the planet would lose its last internal engine. Geological time would stretch into stillness. Mountains would erode without renewal. Continents would flatten. Oceans would stagnate. Earth would settle into equilibrium, cold, stable, and mostly silent. What makes this vision unsettling is not its drama, but its inevitability. This is not a hypothetical catastrophe. It is the natural end state of rocky planets. Earth is alive now because it is young enough, massive enough, and hot enough. But those are temporary conditions. The core will not die suddenly. It will fade, and when it does, the surface will not mark the moment. There will be no boundary between living Earth and dying Earth, only a long transition from dynamism to stillness. The Earth's core reminds us that habitability is not a surface feature. It is an interior process. Life exists not because the planet is beautiful, but because it is restless, because iron moves, because heat escapes, because the planet has not yet cooled into silence. To ask what would happen if Earth's core died is to ask how much of existence depends on motion we never see, how fragile complexity really is, and how thin the line is between a world that supports life and one that merely endures. The Earth will not always be this way. Right now, it is alive beneath our feet, and one day, inevitably, it will not be.